So, Dipti madam, we can start our program.
Okay, fine.
As our guest is already joined there, and students are also waiting. So, we can start further.
Abhishek sir is not there, no?
No. Abhishek sir is not
Okay,
there.
fine. So, should I start now?
Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, one and all. On behalf of the Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, WADA, myself, Dipti Chirmade, take this opportunity to welcome all delegates, speakers, and all my dear students into today's webinar on virtual pharmacology experimentation software.
Madam, please unmute yourself. You are by mistakenly you are muted yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry for inconvenience. Even this during pandemic, webinar provided us means of updated knowledge to cater the needs of academicians and students. With keeping this objective in mind, we organized this webinar, which will highlight recent trends in experimental pharmacology in concern with subject matter expert. For today's webinar, we have Dr. Dharmendra Ahuja as a speaker. My dear students, Pharmacy Council of India has issued the notification, and as per that notification, wherever animal experimentations are prescribed in the curriculum, the required knowledge and skill should be imparted by using computer-assisted module. This is what we have taken initiation to organize this webinar, which will help you to get aware about computer-assisted learning of pharmacology experiment. Today's presentation will address the experimental techniques in pharmacology using software. With this brief introduction of webinar, now I would like to request Dr. Dilip Bharti, Principal, Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, WADA, for welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. On behalf of Ideal Foundation and Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, on behalf of all the students of Ideal Institute of Pharmacy and the faculty members, I heartily welcome Dr. Dharmendra Ahuja sir for giving this opportunity and giving your precious time to encourage our students and acknowledge the students about this particular important topic, that is virtual pharmacology, and how we can go ahead with the pharmacological experimentation with software. So thank you very much and welcome to our institute. I have listened so many things about the virtual pharmacology, so many things about the things, alternatives in the form of experimentations of pharmacology. And being a part of pharmacologist, Professor Ahuja is having a vast knowledge of software-based or alternative-based experimentations in pharmacology. So I hope this session and this time of upcoming 1 hour will be very knowledgeful, very important session will be going to have the students. And all these students will be benefited with these words, because since last 2 years, students are mostly students are not coming in the institute and doing the practicals on online mode. in this 2 years duration, maximum students are not going through the experimentation, particularly the experimentation on animals. So, what are the other alternatives and what are the benefits of these alternatives? We are going to discuss about all these things with the expertise of Dr. Ahuja. So, again, I welcome you and giving my heartfelt to you for this opportunity, for this platform, for well-being of our students. So, without wasting our time, I requested you to hand over and start exploring yourself and giving a spread of knowledge to the students. Thank you very much, sir, for coming, and we'll go ahead with our today's topic. Dipti madam, we can start
Thank
with
you.
the
Thank you.
presentation of sir.
Thank you, sir. Your motivation always inspires us. Before we get started, I request the audience, if you have any questions during presentation, please type them. I will bring them at the end of presentation. Now, I would like to introduce our today's distinguished guest, Professor Dr. Dharmendra Ahuja. He is currently working as a director, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, Jayoti Vidyapit Women's University, Rajasthan, and also principal mentor, X Pharmaceutical Series, Bureau for Health and Education Status Upliftment of New Delhi. He is listed Mentor for Change, Niti Aayog, Government of India. He is also principal mentor of Experimental Pharmacology Series software. He was previously ex-fellow in the State Innovation Council, Department of Planning, Government of Rajasthan, and MHRD. To his credit, he has he has had distinguished lots of his articles national and international journals has been and awarded by Health Minister, Government of Rajasthan, and Child Development Minister, Government of Rajasthan. Sir is also Vice President of the Council of Delhi. Many more dignitaries and principals are in their town. This introduction of today's speaker and
Yes, ma'am, you are not repeat yourself and you are muted presently.
hello, am I audible?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, fine. I would now like to introduce our guest, Professor Dr. Dharmendra Ahuja. He is working as Director, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, Jayoti Vidyapit Women's University, Rajasthan. He is also Principal Mentor in X Pharma Series, Bureau for Health and Education Status Upliftment, New Delhi. He is listed Mentor for Change by Niti Aayog, Government of India. He is a principal mentor of Experimental Pharmacological Series software. He was previously ex-fellow in the State Innovation Council, Department of Planning, Government of Rajasthan and MHRD. To his credit, he has 2 patents. He has had a distinguished career in our pharma field. Lots of his articles has been published in different national and international journals. He has recognized and awarded by Health Minister, Government of Rajasthan and Women and Child Development Minister, Government of Rajasthan. He is a Vice President of Pharmacy Council of India and many more dignitaries. With this brief introduction of our speaker, now I would like to welcome our distinguished dignitary and speaker, Dr. Dharmendra Ahuja. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank the management of Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, the Honorable Chairman of Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, Principal Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, Dr. Dilip Bharti sir, and all other dignitaries associated with the organization. And I would like to thank to the students who will be listening the session for this duration. So before starting the session, I would like to introduce why this webinar is needed and why we all are sitting together on this platform to discuss this issue. If we see in today's scenario, now this pandemic is there, online learning is there, number of things are happening. So your Honorable Principal Dr. Dilip Bharti has rightly arranged the webinar at a very crucial point when it is so much needed, because at present if you see the scenario, we are in the pandemic era and of course we are in the online era, and in this online era and in this pandemic era the most relevant topic which could have been discussed is virtual pharmacology. Why? Because why this pandemic? Pandemic is happening because of nature imbalance. Plants, animals, all are there to balance the environment. If the cruelty is on the animal will be there, the nature balance will be affected and the pandemics will be coming. Similarly, as Dr. Dilip Bharti sir has rightly said that nowadays maximum students are going online they are studying through online classes. So in this session we will be discussing the virtual alternative to perform the pharmacology experiments. So this was the brief why we have been here and why we are particularly emphasizing on this topic in today's webinar. Now coming to the webinar section. In this section particularly I will be discussing the virtual pharmacology experimentation technique, the softwares used, the latest advancement in the virtual pharmacology. So first of all the overview. In this presentation, first of all we will be seeing the introduction part. Then of course what are the measures to prevent the cruelty on the animals, what is virtual pharmacology experimentation, what are the virtual pharmacology experimentation techniques, what are the softwares used for this particular purpose. Then of course we will see particularly detail about X-Farm series, to whom I am associated as a principal mentor, and then advantages of virtual pharmacology, followed by practice of the session. So first of all we will see the introduction. What is virtual pharmacology? Virtual pharmacology is nothing but performing the experiment with the help of IT devices, or we can say computer devices. So So it is an emerging branch of pharmacology. It is also, it may be called as in situ pharmacology, and it's a nascent branch, and it has grown like multiple folds in last 5 years. Uh, Before 5 years, if I say, one or two colleges were using this virtual pharmacology software, and at present almost India has 3000 I'm talking in terms of pharmacy colleges. 3000 pharmacy colleges are there, and among them more than almost all colleges are using this software, means this virtual pharmacology alternatives. Either they are using XPharm software or any other software, but they are using this virtual pharmacology. So you can see in last 5 years it has grown 3000 times. Now, what is the Prevention of Cruelty to the Animals? Prevention of Cruelty to the Animals Act was passed in 1960s era. It's a quite old act actually, and in that act, basically, it was already written. On the basis of that line, basically, in that act, it is clearly mentioned that wherever it is possible, animal cruelty should be avoided, and devices such as models, films, charts, books, etc. should be used. It was written long back in 1960. Means government or the act already has specified that cruelty on the animals should not be there. But due to any reason, the things were going on. Then certain agencies like PETA India and various agencies came up, and animal welfare organizations came up, and they rises they bring that issue that why on this laboratories animal cruelty is happening. Then gradually at first level, school level, animal experimentation were removed. Then later on at UG level, particularly in pharmacy colleges, medical colleges, this has been implemented. But what I mean to say, in the act, it is already written in 1960. Now, in 1960, we know softwares were not there. In 1960, Bill Gates was not there. So, in 1960, it was written in the act like models, films, charts. But now, when we have better alternatives, so we should shift to software instead of model, films, charts. And this is being emphasized by Pharmacy Council of India, Medical Council of India, which is now National Medical Commission, Veterinary Council of India. So all other councils now emphasizing to perform the experiments with the help of virtual alternatives. Now, what is virtual experimentation in pharmacology? Virtual experimentation in pharmacology is performing the experiment with the help of software. Now, it has two folds. One is technical part and one is practice part. When we are sitting as a pharmacy student, we should be studying practice part, because technical part is basically HTML coding, Joomla coding, and various web-based coding devices and all. But that is not our concern. We should be more concerned about the application of the software, the practice of the software, to see the effects of different drugs using the software. Now, basically, if we see in other sense, the techniques, certain videos, HTML algorithms and other things have been empaneled and have been designed in such a manner that the experimentation should look realistic. But here we will be more interested about the practice session. So in practice session, if we talk particularly about XPharm series, which is the software to which I am also associated, the number of experiments are available in virtual way. We will see the experiments. So these are number of experiments available with virtual pharmacology software XPharm series. This includes all experiments like effect of different drug on rabbit eye, then you can say all kind of bioassays, then local anesthetics drugs, then all kind of even toxicity experiments are also there in the software. Then you can even see the Dale's reversal kind of typical responses which were earlier very rarely seen by the pharmacologist while performing, because of animal might die or the tissue may die, but with the software the actual Dale's reversal and these kind of interesting effects they can see, and they can actually perform. Other than that, all you can say behavioral experiment like rotarod, ectophotometer, then different like sleeping time, it is containing more than 30 group modules. So when we will talk about when we are talking about the group modules, means broad set of experiments. So 30 group modules means more than 100 different experimental modules have been designed. It's a long process. Since last 8-9 years, the practicals are being developed on the software and they are being made available to the students, and so that today it has achieved the level where it is covering almost all practicals of pharmacology. Now, if we see the guidelines, Medical Council of India has specified to use the software. Basically, Medical Council of India is now National Medical Commission, so they have particularly emphasized to use the software. Pharmacy Council of India, recently Pharmacy Council of India has issued one notification in that they have particularly told that if the experiments are being performed through this software, then there is no need to have even animal house. Although in the latest Gazette notification of diploma, they have once again emphasized that if you are having the animal house, you can show the student to handling procedures and dose administration procedures. But whenever the cruelty experiments are there, those should not be performed without use of software. And even they have particularly mentioned X-Farm software. So it's a matter of proud for us that the X-Farm software is recommended by Pharmacy Council of India also, which you will be having a look of the software also in this session. For whom the software? The software is for veterinary, medical, nursing, pharmacy, all medical science students. How to get the software? Simply you can log into the website www.heb-nic.in and you can apply for the software. Advantages of virtual pharmacology. As we can see, first of all, it is preventing the cruelty. See, we all are basically on this earth for a certain duration, and earth also expects something from us as a creature. If we will be affecting the another creature, animals, plants, of course the different pandemics will be coming to equalize the things. Why this COVID has came? Because of imbalance. So the foremost advantage of this software, we are once again bringing down the cruelty with the software, and we are once again saving our nature, and of course in turn saving ourselves, because if nature will not be saved, then how the peoples living within the nature will be saved. So this is the foremost advantage. Even if we see Indian mythology, cruelty is considered as a big pap in terms. So in that sense also, wherever possible, we are avoiding that cruelty. Secondly, with the help of the software, we can perform number of experiments in a shorter duration of time. What happens in olden days when the experiments were performed on the animals, people used to bring the dogs. Now in that also, how they were bringing the dogs, that is a long story. Then after that, they were killing them, then they were isolating their tissues, and meanwhile in many cases it was happening that the tissue gets died even before the experiment, so nothing was coming out with the experiment. Even then some of students were able to plant that tissue, even then they were unable to see the response in such a manner because of their dosing imbalance. Even I can bet here, as far as the Dale's vasomotor reversal phenomena is concerned, a number of experiments would have been failed while studying the Dale's vasomotor reversal. But with the software, they can easily perform, they can easily see this experiment. Of course, it decreases the cost of experimentation. See, we know how difficult is to maintain the animal house, then to get the CPCSA approval, then to keep them in the laboratory, then to properly give them hygienic conditions. So as far as if we see the cost part also, the software is comparatively economic also. So cost saving is also there, and test reports are available to the administrator or teacher for the student evaluation instantly. They can easily get the observation table of students on their mail, and they can check and they can explain to the students that this thing you have done wrong, or this is means if a student is performing all the experiment through this software, he or she will definitely get clear idea of all the concepts of pharmacology. Whereas in previous days, what was happening? They were bringing the dogs. Dogs were means different things were happening, but at the end of the day, the complete conceptual knowledge to the students were not given, and students were uh, learning the things in their professional career, like while they are working in a toxicology lab or they became scientists, then they used to understand. So the things were happening like this. So now this was the brief introduction about the software, about the different regulatory guidelines, what are the advantages of virtual pharmacology, why this virtual pharmacology came, how this virtual pharmacology came, what is the concept involved in the virtual pharmacology, what are different experiments can be performed with the help of virtual pharmacology. This was the complete idea. Uh, Now, if we see, we will try to open, if possible, the software here, and if possible, we will run few modules here. So, respected Dilip sir, I'll share and I'll try to open the software panel if possible. Okay.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah, sure. So someone can stop sharing this screen so that,
Yes, sir.
okay. The software is basically in the web-based form. So I have to open that web link. So I'll just open it.
For that, you have to share your entire screen, sir.
Okay, sir. I'll just share.
Yes.
Is it visible, sir? Is it
Yes,
visible?
sir, it is. Yes, it is visible now.
The login page of XFarm series software is visible.
Yes, sir, it is
Is
visible.
it visible?
Yes,
Okay,
sir, it
okay.
is visible.
So now we will just open this. Okay, so we will enter some sample ID and password and we will try to run the software. See, this is the login I have just done. Now in that we can see number of modules are there. These are covering almost all practicals of which are recommended by Pharmacy Council of India. Now suppose we want to see effect of few drugs. Suppose we are just I am clicking on effect of different drugs on frog heart. This is the page for effect drug on frog heart. Suppose we are selecting see the effect of epinephrine in that drug here. So we can see the effect is visible. Earlier the basal heart rate which was 65 has increased to 75. So the heart rate has increased from 65 to 75. So we can say that epinephrine increasing heart rate whereas power of contraction. The height of the graph is showing the power of contraction. Similarly, we can check effect of another drug also. Selecting now drug calcium chloride. You will just inject it. On the top side, you can see it is showing the depletion of the drug from our body. And dose part, you can see the dose has been adjusted automatically. And in the graph part, you can see the graph is there. The height of graph is showing the power of contraction, whereas the number or the frequency of the graph is showing the rate of contraction. So when calcium chloride, the heart rate has gone down to 1, whereas the power has increased. So it increases the power of contraction but decreases the rate of contraction. So we can say it is showing positive inotropic and negative chronotropic effect. Similarly, we can once again wash out and we can see another effect. I am showing you. Similarly, we will see few more modules. Suppose I am selecting another drug. We can say suppose I so effect of potassium chloride is visible in front of you. The basal heart rate which was 66 has reduced to 1, whereas power is also power and rate. So we can say it is negative chronotropic. And if we see the concept due to hyperpolarization. Additionally, different ways new module washout. So different stop button is there if you want to stop the graph at any one point of time. So you can also now we can see similarly other This was effect of different drug on frog heart. Suppose we want to see the diuretic module using metabolic cage. That was the graphical module, isolated tissue module. Now I am showing you practical entire animal, or you can say the behavioral module. So this, now I have opened the practical effect of, means study of diuretic activity using metabolic cage. So in this one section is like this, introduction part is there, then equipment part is there, and principal part is there, and then when we will click on experiment, the experimentation part will open. This is showing the steps which we have to follow. After that we have to click on administer. So here the drug is being administered here. See, in diuretic activity, basically we will see the urine output before drug injection and after drug injection. Suppose we are checking it on vehicle treated. So we will see output. See, whatever urine output here, we can mention it in the box here. So whatever detail, similarly we will perform for all the rats. Suppose I have done this for one animal, now I am performing for another animal. Basically we are checking the urine output of all the animals in drug treated case and without drug treated case, and we are entering that urine output here in the table. After watching the output, we are mentioning that output here in the table. So we have entered for the two animals. You have observation. Just now we entered this 2.9 and 3.1. It is visible. So when we will enter for all the animals for vehicle treated and drug treated, the comparison will take place. I have shown you for two animals. Similarly, for all the animal we will do, and it will automatically calculate the average, and it will go to the conclusion like increase in the average urine output in furosemide treated animals shows that urine level is increased in the furosemide treated animals. So this was the practical about diuretic experimentation. So similarly, number of modules are there, which is covering our complete diploma and B Pharm syllabus, and even certain M Pharms modules where cruelty is involved. So this was the brief idea about the software. Now I'll come back to the main page. We are just logged out. Stopping to the share and share screen. So I have just stopped. So this was I shown few modules. Similarly, number of modules are there and support things are there through which student can get benefited for their experimentation, virtual experimentation. So this was all about from my side regarding the software and its functioning. Now I would be happy if queries are there. If any queries are there related to the software, I will be happy to answer them. So if any queries are there, students can ask.
We are now going to take questions. Kindly put your question in the chat box in the panel which is provided in the YouTube. All students are requested, if you are having any questions, kindly put your questions.
Even if faculty members are having any query, they are also welcome, because discussion is much more important.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes, welcome.
Sir, as you mentioned about that this software is equally beneficial for diploma students. So whether experiment has been given as per the new year in the same software, because previously we are using soft CD which we are getting from the university. So that contains actual particular experiment which is given in the previous year. So is
Mhm.
it beneficial
Very
for
nice
us
question.
now for new year?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You have asked very appropriate question, and it will be, in that sense, I will say that this is the most appropriate one. This XFARM software in that case will be most appropriate one, because it is covering that syllabus, and in the syllabus section, if you will see, it is mentioned that these practicals should be performed using XFARM or any other software. Means they themselves, PCI themselves have mentioned the software name which is covering all the modules. So it is covering those all modules, and you can comfortably perform all the experiment with the software.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Students, do you have any questions? Okay, we have one question. Sir, can we get any pharma related videos on the software?
Yes, yes. Basically, see, in each module, different sections are there. One is introduction, then in procedure, then principle. So all things are being explained in the module itself, and then the students are performing. So videos are also there. Then of course they themselves have to generate their own observation table. It is not like in what is basically the problem with other software is that students themselves are not performing that experiment. In this software they will perform this experiment, and I forgot to show you the exam mode also. In that exam mode is also there, and in that the same experiment, if you will open in the exam mode, then what will happen, the drug name will not be visible. Student and the procedure and all things will get hidden off, and only the performance page will be there. Student have to perform the practical, and then they themselves have to identify that which kind of drug it could be. So this is the interactive, and we can say student have to apply their IQ, and they will understand the concept by using the software. It is not like a simple video, because a video they can see on YouTube also, but it is containing the interactive observation table section and the exam mode also, where they can particularly the faculty can ask to the student to perform the practical in exam mode and to identify that which kind of drug it could be. But as the student has asked, videos are there or not? Yes, videos and everything, explanation and everything is there in the tutorial mode, which I just opened. In tutorial mode, everything is there. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir. It looks like that we have covered all our questions, whatever we can see in the panel. Thank you, sir. You have
Mhm.
enlightened our students on how practicals are being performed, even without real animals, but on animals through software. Yes, definitely our student has get benefited and learned the effect of various drugs on the experimental animals, and even how to handle the software virtually that you have enlightened very nicely. Thank you, sir, for helping us and with us for today's event. Thank you very much. Great. Thank you,
Ma'am, before
everyone. We
ending,
appreciate.
no,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I would like to interrupt here. Yeah, before
Yeah,
ending, I would like to take 5 minutes because that I
yeah,
kept as the end note. Yeah, it means basically as I started this webinar, I told what is the purpose of the webinar. So purpose of the webinar was to prevent the cruelty on the animal. As we can see that pandemic era is there, online learning is there. So I already told that this is the right moment where we launched this webinar and we are discussing the things. But after completion of the webinar, I think I would like to add here that the output of webinar should come, and I would request the university management also to the students to perform the experiments virtually, because if we will perform the experiment virtually through any software, then we will be saving the life. And of course, if we can save 100 rat, 100 mice, 100 animal with this one webinar, then we can say the purpose of the webinar have been achieved. So that end note I was trying to add. Yeah, you can continue, ma'am. Thank you. You are muted, ma'am, I think.
hello. Am I
Yeah,
audible?
yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, it is today's need to prevent the animal's cruelty. And as being a human being, we should proceed with the experimental software, which will definitely helpful for our student and even for us to learn many more things. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. We appreciate your being here, and thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar on virtual pharmacology experimentation software. Once again, I would like to thank everyone on behalf of the Ideal Institute of Pharmacy, WADA. Thank you. Thank you very much. With this, we are ending our session.